Gunning like an idiot. Geek-tastic Cypher here on Free X Agents Media. How are you kids doing? Welcome to another edition, episode 321. You sickers. Oh, sorry. I almost forget. You gotta bleep those.
You're going off the rails. You're Mr.
Going
We need
wild.
5 minutes of clean.
It is clean because I think it was.
You
never know
danced
with
the wire
out
quite
here.
a bit there.
You got to be careful because every time you say on this show, these people get all crazy. Like, hey, you can't say, and then it's like, whoa. All I said was, you dumb. You got to.
You're
like
really
that.
good at that. I'll give you that. You are really good. For those who don't know, he's not using a mute machine or anything like that. That's pure Brian Doc Holiday.
Yeah, that's just years of practice being on the radio and being like, instead of having a mute button, just like muting yourself, just not saying the word.
I would fail at that.
Yeah.
I would get so fired.
Dude, it's just practice. Honestly, it's just practice. And like the most, like Howard Stern could do it and he just chooses not to. You know what I mean? Like it's just the guys who are like, I'll keep it clean. It's just like, don't fake it. What are you talking about?
But sometimes you need to drop the you and stuff.
Yeah, just go for it, Howard. Well, now that he can, right? Because he's on Sirius. So back in the day when he was on radio, he couldn't. But now that he's on Sirius XM, I think he pretty much can say whatever he wants, and he just chooses not to. Still, mind you, I think he's just.
What is that? Because Sirius is like a stream radio,
it's satellite radio. What
What are you gonna do?
Who FCC is gonna do what? Go up in space and take the satellite down?
You're gonna do what?
No, but honestly, like FCC, when they go after radio stations and they find them, it's like, yeah, okay, you find this radio station, you can take their access off the air. But what are you gonna do to a satellite in space, you sick motherfuckers? You can't do anything. Get out of here.
But you said the whole word that time, so you.
No, I really didn't. You'll listen back to the audio, you'll hear.
Oh, geez,
there's actually a term for when your brain fills in the word.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll have to find it because we have that at work. There's a lot of clients that when I make playlists for people, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, man, this is so good, but we asked for this Notorious B.I.G. song, and the version that plays, people are complaining because they keep saying they hear suck my you." And then I'm like, no, that's the radio edit. They don't say the words. I can play the radio edit for you right now. We don't have the explicit version in the system for that particular song because I only got the radio edit because you asked for it. They're just like, yeah, but they're complaining about it. I'm just like, yeah, because they're filling in the words because they know the lyrics.
But curious though, so you're saying you do in fact get versions of songs that have the swear words in them, right? But don't you basically never use that because of what you do? Because you make playlists
for my work, because I work on the business side, so I do the music playlist for like commercial spaces. But at my company, they also do playlists for television. They do playlists for an app. They do playlists for satellite stuff. They do playlists for fast TV stuff. Like Amazon has a whole bunch of our channels. So those channels you can have explicit content because you're grown-ass adults and you can listen to that stuff if you want. But when you're in a store, it's a commercial space. No one wants to necessarily hear that stuff, so it causes such a commotion. But people fill in the blanks. Hold on. Someone fills in the words in a song.
Brian cannot continue. He's like, I need to know the answer to this right now.
It's called mondegreen.
Mondegreen.
A mondegreen is a mishearing or misinterpretation of a phrase in a way that it gives new meaning. Oh, no, that's not what I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that not like I would have known that by name, but like when you're naming it, like it's inaccurate.
I'll try and find the proper term. Mondegreen, though, randomly interesting word. I don't know the hell that one came from.
Yeah, I think that's because it's like you say something. It's like when someone says like a word and it sounds like another word and you take it as that and therefore you take it as a different way. That's basically what it is. It's like when you say Die Hard's not a holiday movie. It is. You keep saying the wrong. You keep saying the wrong. You keep on saying the wrong. And because of that, I'm going to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to me and yours. For those who can't read the screen, I'm just showing Doc my holiday sweater and holiday book of Die Hard.
It's weird. I can't. Is anyone else having trouble seeing Dave right now? I'm not seeing Dave on the screen. It's such an odd thing that
This isn't Westworld, Brian.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't see anything. There's just nothing there. Just that whole region of my screen just went blank as soon as you started talking about movies that aren't Christmas movies, but you pretend they are because you're crazy. I don't know, folks.
The story needs to have a holiday which is chosen to be Christmas and makes its own holiday song. That's a Christmas song for the movie. That's more than enough.
Guys, I feel like we're going to have to, I don't know about you guys, but we might have to take Dave to get checked out again. I don't know. He's starting to sound like The Rock with James Gunn. Just a lot of crazy ideas, but no real control of reality.
Fair. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays.
Shout outs to The Rock for completely torpedoing the entire plan with the DCEU. You know, I as someone who wanted this thing to end in a blaze of glory, I could not have hoped for a better ending than what The Rock gave us. The Rock went in, and for years, they've been trying to get him to do cameos in the other movies as Black Adams. They kept asking him to do the cameos, and supposedly he was always turning them down. He wanted the first appearance to be in the film. And then once he gets his film off the ground, he pushes so hard to get Henry Cavill to have his appearance and show up in that film. And this whole thing, Henry Cavill gets announced. He's allowed to tell them he's back. They're working on Man of Steel 2. Everything's coming up Millhouse. And then what do? They light that on fire and burn it to the ground within weeks. The Rock is on social media bragging about how much money the movie made. Immediately, people have to start coming at him and being like, that is not how it go. Nothing to go so, homie. You are messing this up. Then, on top of that, what else did he do? This man goes around and starts talking about this, that, the other thing. Henry Cavill starts bragging, starts putting more things. And you know what it was? The most electrifying failure in cinematic history.
Oh.
It doesn't matter that I'm an idiot, because I'm gonna burn it down. The Rock says nothing, because Gunn says, know your damn role. You're a jabroni, and you need to get the hell out of the ring. Ooh, baby. That felt good.
Yeah, that was good for
I
a
rookie. I
right.
appreciate that. That was like Brian really tapping into those memories.
Full on memories.
14-year-old Brian immediately just entered the room.
Did you say know your role? Did you say that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did the whole thing.
I did the whole thing.
He even adapted it. It's the adaptation and your pronunciation of those adaptations that I'm most impressed with. Because that was really the Rock.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, wow, you hit a ball.
The only thing he just didn't say rock bottom. That's
No,
the
he said
only
the only
Rooney
thing I didn't do
Poo.
was the only thing I didn't do was run in the room and bounce off both sides of the ring and then give the people's elbow to that.
But this is a story of Rock fucks with DCU and then DCU fucks right back.
Yeah,
I mean,
and like this is his first failure though. This would be his first bigger, wider scale. Well, so failure is a strong term, but that's what it is. But I'll say this though, like.
Remember how he used
maybe
to brag
if you tried harder in the actual movie, you would have more weight. Because I'm sorry, that first movie was a bad I think that was a bad representation, and it's clearly because of the writing. It was a bad representation in Black Adam, which would not even let The Rock have a good interpretation because if that's what you're dealing with. What are you going to do? He's written as a brute.
One of the things I'm wondering is why did he wait the 15 years? To not and didn't want to appear in any of the other projects when he could have just helped, because isn't he known as IP Viagra? What's his thing?
The franchise
franchise Viagra. I don't know.
The franchise, the enhancer, something.
Whatever it is.
Multiply,
whatever it is, he brags about that stuff so much, and then has the opportunity to launch one of the biggest, because we all know the Snyder stuff was being pushed to the side. It was pretty much done. The only real thing that connected this last film to the Snyder stuff was Waller. And even then, we know Waller is a Gunn carryover because he's the one using her for Peacemaker and stuff.
Right.
So that's not Snyder as much as that's Gunn at that point. We know that's a Gunn. Like, Gunn is the one that is going to keep using Viola Davis. From what I understand, he's still planning to have her own show. She's still the mom of the other girl from Peacemaker. That's all still connected there. So Gunn is not going to ditch Viola Davis, because especially when all her stuff is so small in these movies, it doesn't
Right.
matter that she's doing this stuff. She could just be a head on a screen and it would be perfectly fine. But then to have Superman come back, that's where it messed up. Why'd you bring Cavill back?
For
And
what,
you
really? Yeah, I mean, oh,
and we
man.
know why. Because he has, wifey
Yeah.
who's the manager. And I'm telling you, I was telling everybody, anyone who would listen to me, he's only doing this because it affects the bank at home.
Such a terrible, terrible move. It was just
Terrible move. Black
not
Adam does
good.
not need to fight Superman. Black Adam has Shazam. Just because he doesn't like Shazam as a character doesn't mean he gets to rewrite history.
He's like, I don't like that guy. I don't want to work with him.
What was that? What was that? I don't understand. Can you imagine? I'm the actor that's portraying a character that historically that character has interacted with another hero, Shazam, Captain Marvel. It's been his story. Been his story.
Done the story.
Their origin stories are linked. The origin stories are linked.
Literally right there for you. Like, done.
And what do you do? I really think he needs his own introduction. For what? Who? No one even knows who Black Adam is.
It's because he needed the clout on this one, because this one is one where for sure, like, look, obviously The Rock has confidence in the things that he does, and he does pull off a bunch of things. Like, we can't deny that, and he has a track record.
Yeah.
But like, this is one of those things that people were like, dude, you look like him, dude, like you're solid, blah blah blah. This is one where like easily he thought he'd be able to phone this in, and like, and when you're saying I'm going to phone it in, or it's going to be super easy, because phone it in could also mean that you just think it's going to be that easy. But like, you go with that mentality, it's like, well, no, I want to get a big paycheck. And like for The Rock, like he has so many things. He had so many things going on in general that if he's going to give his time, he needs to see a certain degree of like profit, and profit's not only money, but like, like we were saying before, like other than Superman and Wonder Woman and stuff, like, not every movie was like when you saw people's reaction to, let's say, Justice League, he probably was like, yeah, no.
Dude, this whole Q score, this whole him being the top dog, this whole, like, this is, and what's funny? I was saying this to my buddy, and I was saying this to another friend of mine. One of the things about The Rock is, and I think this was one of the mistakes of him, I think his ego got the best of him. Young Rock, as a show, is revealing too much about how his mind works. And I think it's a mistake. Because, Skinny, did you watch season 1?
Yes.
In season 1, what's the main lesson you learn about him and his family?
You don't mess with. Well,
no, don't mess with them, sure. But what's the thing
stubborn?
What's the thing that dad's always doing that even he's just like, my dad was always, and like huge aspects of their lives were about this thing.
You're gonna have to tell me, but
the gimmick. The wrestling gimmick.
Yeah.
Heels can't be seen with faces in public. They hang out in secret at people's houses. They do all this stuff. Everything was the gimmick. And if you're a kid raised in that, your whole life, your dad is doing the gimmick, always playing the gimmick, always playing the angle, always winning, always winning. You always got to sell. The last episode, they had The Rock sitting with Danny having supper. Fans come over to them and ask for an autograph, and The Rock goes, okay, and like signs the autograph, and Danny goes, what's wrong with you? And he's just like, yeah, I'm really sorry that they interrupted our supper. She's like, no, you were rude. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's just like, listen, if this is what you want to do, you're gonna have to accept that these fans are gonna come and see you and be excited. So what did he do? He went over, he apologized, he comped their dinner, And then he went into his whole rock spiel. He went full on into character, and he was just like, and you let everybody know that you got your candy asses. And he starts doing all of that in the restaurant in front of everybody. And the whole restaurant starts applauding. And the girl's just like, oh my God, that was so great. And then he walks away and sits down, and Danny's like, feel better. He's just like, you're right, that felt good. And you start to realize this man on the show is showing us that even when he was out at dinner with his wife, the gimmick continues. You got to stay in character. And I think that's what's happened. The Rock's been in that character for, 20 years now? How do you break character when you've been doing this smiling, super happy wrestling guy, willing to do any projects going out there, but you also have an ego?
Yeah, but everyone has an ego at the end of the day, or most people do.
Your ego doesn't have to come against the character you're playing. So The Rock, who wants to play back Black Adam, who wants to be top dog, who wants to do big things, the guy who doesn't want to make cameos that would help the franchise because it would connect that there's this major big bad that has the powers of all these other characters. He could be almost as fast as the Flash. He could be as strong and as dangerous as Wonder Woman. He has all these powers, but guess what? He didn't do any cameos and didn't show up in any of their movies and didn't fight any of them. So then you get this one movie where you're like, okay, so let's see your power set against Hawkman? The fuck I care about you against Hawkman?
I also think that The Rock was even though he was a good storyteller in wrestling, he clearly did not apply that concept to the decision with Black Adam. Because even if I was looking at it, I'd be like, first of all, what happens when you do a payoff to a match, which would be in this case the match being the movie. You have to build to it, and like you had natural buzz because of who you are, but then you decide to wait 15 years, which okay, you want to wait 15 years to make the movie, fine, but like as you're saying, do those cameos, lay the hints here and there, but because you did that
in Shazam,
maybe those
shown up in Shazam,
and those hints could maybe explain why you seem to be an utter idiot at the beginning of this movie. Dude. Because again, it pisses me off. I don't want to go on that tangent, but one thing that does piss me off about that movie a lot is I'm like, Black Adam's smart. He's an intellect. He's an intellectual. It's not at all what you're dealing with, sure, but like, and I could deal with not being at that point because you just got out of a rock, a frozen whatever,
on the ground,
But like this random odd brute, when even back then you technically weren't like it's not like he took a caveman. You know what I mean?
But you know what's funny? The best example of that is the fact that he picked up the language. He doesn't speak English, and then you showed that with the powers of a god and the wisdom of Solomon, he could turn around and learn English like this.
That's true. One of his powers is that he's smart.
Yes,
that makes this even more.
One of his powers is the wisdom of Solomon.
This is not helping at all.
And then what do? You make it that he doesn't understand doors and he keeps flying through walls. Like, come on, man. Anyways, we won't do a second review of Black Adam. We already said our piece.
We don't need to do that.
But let's talk about James Gunn. So The Rock went on, and I think you shared a link for us here, where The Rock went on and said his piece about how blah, 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 whatever. Whole bunch of bullshit. No one really needed to hear it. He wasted all our time. Turns around. He finds out, he does the official meeting with Gunn. They sit down, they talk, and then releases a statement on Twitter explaining that essentially the Black Adam is not going to be the net part of the new class or whatever phase of the
next
DC.
phase or the next
to which
whatever that means.
Who knows? And then Gunn finally had to give a full statement.
Oh, he did. Darren. Oh shit.
Yeah, well, Gunn wrote a reply to that specific tweet being like, "Hey man, like blah blah blah, we'll always work together. We're gonna probably work on something in the future. You know, he's keeping up appearances because $7 Productions is a partner that's working with Warner Brothers, so he's not gonna burn bridges.
No,
whatever. But then you get this statement. This is now Gunn talking about DC Studios, DC Films, and what they're doing. One of the things Peter and I were aware of when we took the job as head of DC Studios was a certain minority of people online that could be, well, uproarious and unkind, to say the least. Our choice for the DCU are based upon what we believe is best for our story, for the story, and best for the DC characters who have been around for nearly 85 years. Perhaps those choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with sincere heart and integrity and always with the story in mind. No one loves to be harassed or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse. Disrespectful outcry will never, ever affect our actions. We were aware there would be a period of turbulence when we took this gig, and we knew we could sometimes have to make difficult and not so obvious choices, especially in the wake of fractious nature of what came before us. But this means little to us in comparison to our jobs as artists and custodians in helping create a wide and wonderful future for DC. Essentially, he said, shut the fuck up, you ain't getting what you want, I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's what he said. I heard in between each line was shut the fuck up, sit your ass down, and wait. That's what I read.
That's exactly what he's saying.
That's
what I read too.
I read a very clear shut the fuck up. Sit yo ass down. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's the most polite way I've ever seen someone say it, but it's wonderful.
That's great.
Dude. Listen, we've been saying this. We've said it on this podcast numerous times. Skinny, you've said it. Dave, you said it. I've said it. Listen, we are fans, but unless you have been working in this industry and get the top job, you need to give it a couple seconds. James Gunn hasn't even released anything, and y'all are calling for the man to be fired. What are you talking about?
That is just
shut the fuck up. Shut up.
How are you going to call for someone to be fired who's not done anything? You know what he's done so far? He's told you, hey, I'm not going to continue what existed already. You're the monster, fire him. What do you mean?
Hey, I'm just not going to pick up these pieces of glass and I'm just going to create a new window. Nope.
Yo, Skinny just hit the fucking nail on the head. What person walks in with a broken fucking thing on the floor? This man has shattered pieces on the ground, and he's telling you, I'm gonna fix it, but let me fix it. And you guys walk in and go, no, build it back from the broken shards of crap.
Like that church that once upon a time. Anyways,
because you know what it is. It's just because the problem, and we all understand the fan backlash. It's just it's too loud.
No, I don't understand the backlash.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand.
It was a bad universe. You understand?
I understand people. I understand people wanting him to still be Superman, but the thing is, you cannot transition. Like no one's.
But
you can't restart a universe with the same actor. It's too hard unless you do like some form of multiverse shit, and like no one's gonna understand multiverse shit because you never told the stories. Well, you didn't tell cohesive stories for the average viewer to be able to do that.
Dave, you do realize you're explaining why these people shouldn't be complaining.
I'm explaining why they shouldn't be, but I could also understand why. But I understand why the change is needed, but I understand for them to say, I really want this actor still, and I'm just weighing. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Sure.
But don't go out and directly attack. People have to make hard decisions. They're not making decisions they want to make. Who likes to say you're not going to go with a project with someone who you know is going to like? Honestly, I think Henry Cavill so far has been the best Superman, and it's a very, very hard
job.
Like it's a tall bar he put.
Yes,
it's unfortunate that he happened to be in 3 other movies linked to a crappy universe.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, Dave. The funny part, the reason I was saying it's funny is because you are explaining. You saying I understand why they're upset, but then explaining immediately why they shouldn't be upset. That's the part I find funny. Because you're like, oh, I understand that they want Cavill, but, and then you explain all the reasons why they should shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
Yeah,
like, that's the thing that's funny.
We don't have to be mean. It's just like, let's come to the understanding that can't happen. And we live in facts and not fantasy, unfortunately.
They're not even realizing that all the shit that hasn't come out yet may be a part of this universe. So we haven't even seen Green Lanterns, and James Gunn just might go, wibbity wibbity, and now it's a part of the universe. Like, people don't think, and I don't even care about DC.
They need.
I know.
This is one of those. This is one of those scenarios where you literally have to put the brakes on everything and say, what can I keep if I want to keep something, and if I think I could have this, does it make sense that I keep it?
Oh,
that's two important questions.
I just want to mention, and I'm looking at everyone, guys. Is it okay if I focus on myself for a second?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna focus on me.
Nope,
I'm gonna put myself here.
Ooh.
I just want to tell everybody, just real quick, not when, not if, sorry, but when they cancel The Flash, I will donate $100 to a charity that James Gunn supports. I'm saying it here so that people understand, because I don't see how you do all this cancellation and don't end up canceling the movie with the most problematic actor in your whole.
Because they're going to use that as a round rosy to, hey, this is why we're rebooting stuff. Like, they're going to really, like, well, that's when you say, okay, because I'm going to use this as a term, they're going to Sam Raimi the shit out of that movie.
What do you mean?
Meaning anything that it was meant to do that would have been important and or likable or beloved by the crowd, there may be a smidge of it left, but they're really going to use it to just go then and scoop it everything up and be like trash, and that's that. They're new 52ing with that. Like,
the only way you keep that Flash movie from happening is if behind the scenes, what's his crazy ass name again? Ezra.
Yeah.
There's like a big complete like non-disclosure agreement that they have that he's just like, yeah, it's going, and in reality they're redoing this whole freaking film just to do a like mini Flashpoint so that anything after the film that's why it's like you're literally saying this is no more.
But the whole movie is Flashpoint. That's why they're going to use it.
But that's what I'm saying. But how do you support the concept of Ezra Miller with all the stuff that he's done?
You don't.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, how? That's why I don't understand how this movie isn't canceled yet.
I just
edit it so that he dies from the jump. Listen, it could be a 3-hour Flash movie. You don't have no Flash in it, nigga. What do you mean?
I mean, 3-hour movie, not.
But that's what I'm saying.
It was supposed to be a long movie. He could just die.
At that point,
doesn't Barry die? Doesn't Barry die and they go to Wally?
That would be cool.
No, it's Barry the whole time.
I mean,
Barry does Flashpoint.
Barry does Flashpoint, but
it
it's what did. Okay, rumor has it they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earth, or they're doing that Crisis thing, that story where Barry does die. I'm saying Barry gonna die here.
They could.
Listen,
I honestly, you need to get rid of Ezra.
And because of that, it could lead into a crisis because of what Barry did in this shit, and he happened to die trying to fix it.
Yeah,
whoopity boop.
Honestly, if I'm at DC, and again, we have no clue.
Ezra is problematic, as you're saying. But yeah, go on.
We have no clue what's happening. We have no idea. Gunn is supposed to announce this stuff in January. You have a Blue Beetles film that's coming out. You have a Peacemaker season 2 that's in the works. You have all these little pieces, but like you're saying, you do need a Flashpoint to merge the worlds together like they've done in the past. The only thing with having a Flashpoint or a Crisis of Infinite Earths is, like you were saying, Dave, you have to have established something to say, oh, we're merging it all together. And you haven't established shit.
To be honest, honestly, I think that what you mentioned, something season 2, Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I have a hint that a pod that I listen to, kind of a guy works and he might be working or was working on it. And he mentioned that, oh yeah, that thing I was working on, I just got word that in the mix of it, it got canceled and it was for HBO. And I feel like that's Peacemaker 2, season 2. Because that was
in charge now. Why would he cancel his baby?
Because it's in a Snyderverse.
Oh, that's
he fucked up putting those dudes at the end of season 1. Now you got to get rid of it.
Yeah, that honestly, that was
why'd
really
you do
weird.
that?
I didn't really understand why.
I mean, no,
you'd
have to get rid of it. Oh, that's
them.
No, you got to get rid of it. Don't know.
Yeah. Real quick, Kenton did ask us this a minute ago. What does this mean for Witcher?
Nothing.
I just want to point out to people, part of the story is that he left Witcher not because of Superman, but because he didn't like the direction the showrunner was going in. Supposedly, they weren't going to stay as true to the book series as he liked. And from what everyone says about Henry Cavill, when he's a fan of something, he likes to be a true fan. Like
he's a
this
nerd.
whole Warhammer thing.
Yeah, I was about to say he already has Warhammer, so he's not going back to.
Yeah.
Warhammer.
He just said, "Fuck this and fuck this and give me you. I'm taking you. No one's saying no to me."
Warhammer show, you goof. You know,
Hey man, Warhammer is really popular though. That's the thing. I don't know anything about Warhammer.
That's so weird. It is.
What is Warhammer?
Warhammer is
like,
set 40,000 years in the future
Yep.
in like a kind of crazy, like war-ridden world Earth.
I played the games. There's just a bunch of niggas in mech suits, fucking chainsaw swords. It's weird.
Yeah,
And like
stuff like that.
guns and just it makes no sense.
It's people who like war and like fantasy games, and
And they
so
just
that
push
they
it
didn't-
together.
Yeah, they, oh, I don't really like what these nerds in D&D are doing, but if I could put it a mech with a chainsaw sword, then I might be into it. And it's like, okay, you're still playing D&D. You're playing D&D set in the future, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? This is the same shit.
I never got that shit. Makes sense.
I like D&D. I've been playing it. I think it's really fun. It's just funny to me when people are like, "Oh, I don't play D&D," and then they turn around and they're playing a version of D&D. Like
D&D is hard to me because that shit could go on for like 30 years and your character could like die with you and then your dog could take over. And like if you're hardcore with it, D&D is super dope. But the idea, no. I'm not sitting there being like, I'm your quest master. No.
Yeah, I gotta say though, Skinny, I gotta say, it's pretty fun.
I know I'd be into it, and I know I love it. I know.
I'm telling you, like
my nature to make fun of shit I don't understand.
Real quick, shout out to the Sunday Wanderers. That's the name of my crew that I play D&D with because we play on Sundays. And there's one story where one of the homeboys goes into the shop, and he literally all he had to do was buy healing potion. That's all that was supposed to happen. This man tries to rob the store. Gets blinded by the shop owner. Oh no, sorry, gets frozen by the shop owner. The other guy in our party blinds the shop owner. This turns into a whole fight. Me and my other partner are outside because these two are fucking idiots, and that's how they act in the game. So we're like, you know what? We're not gonna go into the shop with them. We're gonna just let them do their shit. So while you're playing, one of the great things about D&D is like, even though you know what's happening, you get to pretend like you don't want to be a part of it because in story, in character, my character and my partner were sitting outside talking, not looking at the store. So we don't know, quote unquote, that in the store it is going fucking bad. Another guy comes from behind the counter, attacks my other friend. He runs to the door to call for the police, opens the door, yells police. My man kills him.
Wait. Because see, this is where I get confused about Dungeons and Dragons. This is not in none of this scenarios in a booklet where it's like, oh snap, some dude showed up. He called for the police. So this is your quest.
Black, rolling dice.
Yeah, this is rolling dice, and this
I got
is
my dice right here.
Okay,
you play now, Brian?
I do. I play D&D on Sundays, every second Sunday. Yeah.
So they roll the dice, and these are different happenings made out by the quest master.
Yes. So the game master.
So that dude's creative as shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the game master is just like, yo, you guys, you two walk in. All four of you walk into the store. So we all walked into the store. First homie, the Dragonborn, she's just like, I'm out. She steps out. I'm standing there. I'm the barbarian. These other two are talking. They're acting shady. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are up to. I'm out. So I walk out. We go around to the next building.
And you know the other two guys?
And yeah, we're playing together. So those two other guys start doing some fuck shit like they always do because those two like to be chaotic. So next thing you know, they're in the shop causing all sorts of commotion. The shopkeeper is blind. Homeboy's frozen. Our other dude, who's a shapeshifter, is now running around the store trying to hide because the second dude comes out. When second dude comes out, goes to the door to call the cops, shapeshifter dude runs up on him and stabs him in the neck. While he was doing that, my character finally acknowledges what's happening and starts walking over to the store. Right. So as the guy gets stabbed in the neck and starts dying, I grab his body and drag him into the store.
You're in the conflict.
So now I'm in the conflict.
Oh,
so now my character, but the shopkeeper is blind and never heard me speak. So he doesn't know who I am. So he starts going, what's going on? And I'm just like, I don't know. Your friend just collapsed on the ground. I don't know what's happening. Crazy shit happens. We go through this whole thing. A cop finally shows up. The Dragonborn kind of keeps the cop away for a second. I roll a perfect stealth check, grab my buddy who's frozen, sneak out the back door with him. The other girl walks, the girl that we're playing with, the Dragonborn, walks away from the cop because the cop doesn't know who she is. Cop goes into the shop. So now in the shop, the only person left is a changeling. What did the changeling do? He changed into a child and pretended to be scared, sitting in a corner. And then he rolled to a stealth check himself, snuck out the back. No one got caught.
Hold on.
Amazing.
Did the nigga get the potion?
You want to hear the funny part? You want to hear who got the potion?
Tell me who.
I got the potion
course you
because when I
Yeah.
went into the store, I told the shopkeeper to give me a potion so I could help his friend, and then ended up not giving the potion to his friend and left with it.
Bro, yo, you guys are grinding, man. No, like that's a Twitter story.
Yeah.
That no, that is the craziest, most grimiest Dungeons and Dragons
Dude,
play
that's
I've
what
ever
I'll tell
heard.
you, D&D, like
oh my god,
you're
I have
out
so
here
many
just-
questions.
you're out here just rolling dice. Next thing you know, you got dead bodies in your hand and you're trying to save people. You're like, I don't know what to do in this situation, but it was good, man. It was fun.
Jesus,
Jeez.
that's
I have so many questions. I've been asking all my friends if anyone plays D&D, and everyone says no.
Oh, look at him.
And this is how I find out that you've been playing.
Dude,
rude.
I'll ask my quest master if we can add another. We play Sundays, every second Sunday, but it's at weird random times. Like sometimes I'm playing at like 7 till 10 p.m. on a Sunday night.
No, nigga.
Oh,
As long as it's known in advance, I could work with it.
Yeah, we usually decide 2 weeks before we play, so
Yeah.
you would know. But sometimes it's like Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. It's like, hey, is everyone free Sunday at 1? We're like, sure. So then Sunday at 1, we play from like 1 till 4.
So it's always like 3-hour blocks.
Yeah, usually 2 to 3 hour blocks. Like sometimes if it's
so
just us
cute.
running around town, that's just 2 hour. If it's us doing a battle, that's usually 3 hours.
Do you guys put a lot of? Are you Okay, no, this is a question, so we shouldn't be asking. On the pod. I just realized I'm about to nerd out hard.
No,
Yeah.
man, nerd out. That's what I'm telling people. D&D is actually fun. I've been wanting to play. You know who
There's
really
so
wants
many
to play?
questions to ask.
Shout outs to Wizzy Moonchaser. Wizzy's been telling me for a minute he wants to get a game going.
That'd be kind of funny.
It's honestly, it's if you have the right people and you get the right vibe,
It
Yep.
could be good.
and it's just also having a dungeon master that just like organized and could tell at least a good story.
Yeah.
This guy sounds good.
Yeah. Shout outs to Friggy. It's the
Yeah.
boy Andrew.
If he was able to make all that nonsense and just from going into a shop,
yeah.
it's pretty good.
I don't know. I know Jaws used to mention a lot back in the day, but Geeking Out at the Tower podcast that he used to do, his co-host from that is the Dungeon Master or Game Master, Friggy. So yeah, shout outs to them. Shout outs to the whole Sunday Wanderer crew. I look forward to the next match because I think the next match we're gonna be trying to roll up on a encampment of like gnolls. Like
Oh, y'all are gonna die.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I'm mad scared because
I'm mad scared, man.
because we already came across one randomly in the road, and that one almost took all 3 of us out. And it's
Bruh.
like, great, that was one, and now we're going on an encampment. But hey, man, that's the game. It's the game. Don't hate the players, it's the game.
That's the game.
But that's the game. It's fun.
Great.
It's
It
fun.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Shit.
All this to say, James Gunn is going to play some D&D with the DC universe, and all y'all need to sit down and calm down and just let the game start before you start commenting, because we haven't even seen the game start yet.
I'm excited to see what he's gonna do because it's not gonna involve Batman or them niggas. So I'm cool. I'm happy. We'll see.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm worried about when we start talking about this crisis and merging of universes. I really, really hope that like the Batman, Matt Reeves, or Todd Phillips' Joker, all that stuff gets to stay solo. And I hope they don't try and figure out like connecting it. Or
No.
it's like touching the universe.
No.
Like
be that your Elseworlds. Leave that as your
Sure.
Elseworlds. Leave
I will
that
say
as-
don't
this,
do
though.
Batman for 20 years. How about that?
yeah, that too.
I don't think it's that you don't do Batman. I think it's that if you're going to do first of all, if you're going to do a Batman movie, it's not meant to be Like for Batman, it has to be to
No,
like either
no.
introduce a major character elsewhere or to introduce all the Robins finally.
Dave, you
can't
understand
stress
that
that enough.
since I was 8 years old, we've had over 10 Batman movies.
Yeah,
You
I know.
understand that? And I'm not talking animated.
I know.
Like we have a
Yeah, we
lot of Batman movies.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying like he should be
We
in
have
movies, but not his movie.
Oh, I
anything.
think you can even do without Batman for a minute.
we have 8 total Spider-Man movies and a bunch of Batman.
Like, Dave, think about it. Do you need a guy whose power is wealth when you have Superman and Wonder Woman? Like, you can do stories
not-
without that dude for a second.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're like example. Let's say you do a Justice League movie. Let's say you do
I don't
any of
want
the
to just.
Rob.
That's
No,
what I'm saying.
I'm just
Don't
no, but
do those
anyone.
movies where Batman's a
let's
part of it.
do it
Dude,
backwards.
how much does Batman not touch? Like, if we're gonna be serious about it,
What do you
like
mean?
he's in almost
Wa-
everything in
Wonder
DC.
Woman and Flash have their own story arc where she goes into Hades when she's trying to fight what's his name? Ares at one point. Separate story. Keep that completely separate. Superman has stories where he goes into space and doesn't have Batman with him, but encounters the Legionnaires, encounters the Green Lantern Corps, encounters so many other people. Do those stories. You have stories where all of these heroes do stuff and you can cross them over without Batman, because at the end of the day, Batman should be like Daredevil, the nigga taking care of 3 blocks. Like, he doesn't need to be in space. He doesn't need to be like, just take care of Gotham, motherfucker. You don't need to be in all of these situations. You're a dude with money. That's one of the reasons he doesn't work. Like, he doesn't, he works in the comic books, but he doesn't necessarily work on screen outside of Gotham. Think about it. The best representations of Batman ever are always Batman who just takes care of Gotham.
I agree with that.
I say they just treat it as this. Usually they have it that Batman comes first and then all the other superheroes roll up and he's all like, what's up with these other superpowered people? How about we do Age of Superheroes and then this regular dude rolls up and they're all like, who's this? And they kind of keep an eye on him. He may be younger than all of them, because not so much younger, because I don't know, Superman doesn't really age. We don't have to make
Right.
Superman wild older, but let's say Superman's been established for like 5 years. Wonder Woman, we can make her however old because she's Wonder Woman. The Flash, let's say he just popped up maybe 1 or 2 years prior to Batman. Same with Green Lantern,
But Skinny,
whatever.
check
Yeah.
this out. But right before I leave, take exactly what you're saying, Dave.
Yeah.
Do the OMAC project.
Mhm.
The first introduction of Batman is Batman has been running the OMAC project, keeping tabs on the superheroes, and attacks the superheroes with the OMAC stuff. Realizes the superheroes are actually here for good; they're not bad, and then starts to work with them. And you have your Batman introduction where he's a much younger guy who's just paranoid, but then realizes these heroes are actually not here to take over, and he ends up working with them. So you get the humanity of Batman, this human who's just worried about godlike creatures, but then he ends up joining them. Why not? And with that, peace, y'all. Have fun for the rest of the show. I gotta bounce.
Peace.
I mean, that's pretty good. That works.
But to use the OMAC project as like the Justice League intro, I don't know.
Yeah. Why not? No.
But like that's so you're jumping so many things in that, you know? Like you're jumping side stories, you're jumping a lot of character buildup.
Double back afterwards. Just double back afterwards.
Yeah, but like come on, like if you think about it, it's like if you're gonna try and double back, like that's I don't know. Like they're not good at doing that. They've proven not good to do that at all. Because that's like trying to tie shit in like they've been trying to. Well, I mean, mind you, again, maybe with James Gunn it might be different, but like
Right.
nonetheless.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it'd be a good idea.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think having Gunn as part of the storytellers is, or the
studio head.
The studio head for this is probably one of the smartest things. It's like you kind of put a Feige equivalent in the sense of the mind. You know what I mean? Like you put someone who is excessively good at storytelling, excessively good at bringing up all the pieces at once. Like it works.
It's gonna be nice what he does. Though I may not be too excited for it. Should be nice to see what he kind of pulls from it. I'm excited.
Well, like again, like I'll be more excited after something finally airs. One thing I am curious if it's also going to be expunged is Blue Beetle still a go? Because
Yes, for
Blue Beetle
sure.
was the thing that was pre-Gun.
Pre-gun, but not. They can rework stories and actually no, I don't know. As long as that doesn't have any ties directly to like Snyder stuff, then yeah, it's a go. And they just tie it in next time or whatever.
Yeah, I don't. But like again, like I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But have you been watching anything holiday oriented? Are you getting in the spirit of all things?
We've managed to watch many Christmas movies since like November, so like there's a thing, but this week didn't really catch much new. I'm probably gonna try to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at some point. Yeah, that's that.
Okay, because I was trying to segue into the
Go ahead.
concept that I watched Spirited. Now,
Oh snap! Okay,
straight up, like obviously watching this movie, I was like, I know this is like a what's
musical?
it called? A musical, but like,
how was that? Yeah, ay.
So 1 second.
Yeah, especially considering.
Well, let me put it this way:
Ryan Reynolds can sing, right?
Well, like, look, Ryan Reynolds, like, it's not about like acting and whatnot in the movie was fine. All right, so like, look, a bit of a spoiler for whoever's watching. Like, if you're really looking for this film, like, it's not exactly the most complicated of stories, but like, spoiler alert now. So, the beginning of the movie, you kind of start off with the concept of a person being like Dickens, right? Like you see the end story of a regular person, like, you know, death pointing at them, and they're like, oh my god, and then they wake up in like the life, and then they're like, oh no, it's like, you know, she's like the bad girl, the bad like street mom, you know, always like, and she walks out like, oh, I have a second chance and all this stuff, and like it plays off like, you know, the spirits, i.e. Will Ferrell is Ghost of Christmas Present, you have Ghost of Future and Past, and you have like all these other random spirits that are coming out and do this whole musical and explain to you, like, you know, it's their jobs. They're like, we do this every year and we try and convert one person who will have like a butterfly effect to like better everyone else, you know what I mean? And they start off with like going, and like at this point you're like, okay, cool, like, you know, there's been singing and whatnot, and the story itself goes on to be pretty good. It's more of like I would call it more of like a sequel to the original Christmas Carol story arc. Without telling, well, I mean, do you care about spoilers?
Go ahead. No, I don't mind.
All right, cool. So then, like, straight up spoilers for anyone listening to this, like, you know right away, because it's talking about the spirits, that it's going to be related to like the story of Scrooge and etc. Like right off jump, right? And then like within a few minutes, they're like, oh, who are we gonna like haunt next year to convert and be good? And like they're looking at one person, and they're like, the Ghost of Christmas Present, who's like Will Ferrell, is like, yo, we like, this guy's not gonna do much of a damage, like do any much better. He's only in charge of like 400 employees or whatever. And in doing so, he bumps into Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds is like, you know, god awful, typical Scrooge type thing.
Okay.
And like, you know, he's like, we're gonna choose him, and they're like, he's the unredeemable. Like, they have case files, like they're treating this just like it's a job, right? Like,
right.
Case files, like they've tried to do this before. He's like, well, we've converted unredeemable before, and his boss is like, yeah, you know how that happened. And like right away, you're like, you pause the movie for a second, you're like,
so you're gonna redeem him.
So like you're gonna try and redeem him, but like you're telling me this story is about like, you know, the Christmas ghosts. You clearly connected it to like the original Scrooge story. Now,
yeah.
Who's unredeemable? Scrooge was unredeemable. Okay, so the unredeemable is, oh, Will Ferrell, you're Scrooge. This guy's gonna like replace you in some shape or form or something. Like right
Will
off
Ferrell Scrooge.
because he's Ghost of Christmas Present, right? But his boss goes like, "Oh, we've only redeemed one redeemable before, and you know how that went." And he looks straight at like Will Ferrell's character, right? And you're like, well, you're obviously insinuating that either he's the guy who did the conversion, or you're the guy who was converted, right?
Okay, all right.
So like
okay.
right away, I'm like, okay, so like I'm pretty sure Will Ferrell is Scrooge, and I'm pretty sure the end goal is that he's gonna convert Ryan Reynolds, and somehow Ryan Reynolds is gonna get his job. But that doesn't make sense because the spirits are ghosts, and why would you end this movie with the death?
The death, yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So it goes from there, and there's like a side story where Will Ferrell can potentially retire, and if he retires, he would be brought back to life. And he's falling in love with someone. So you have completely every direction it'll go, right? And I won't ruin the rest because even though I figured all this out within like 10 minutes of the movie or whatever, I'm like, this is still a pretty solid story.
Still a lot of singing though.
But that's the thing, right? So like I like musicals. I like example, Nightmare Before Christmas I really liked. Mary Poppins.
How do you like that movie?
I just like I'm not the worst when it comes to if it's a good story. I don't mind musicals. Like even what's that?
That wasn't a good story. Nightmare.
West Side Stories is like actually a great story.
West Side Story I've watched. Wait, I recently watched Nightmare Before Christmas and I was not impressed at all.
But let's put it this way, right?
Yeah.
In those movies, you know, you have the songs are good, they're catchy, and they all have purpose. Like you're either developing a character, pushing story forward, or doing some form of plot development.
Right.
And what it usually morphs your perception of what you are watching, usually in some shape or form. It's bringing you in a direction, right? This movie did have some really good songs. Like there's actually a song about how back in the day, "Good Day" was like a way of insulting, and they make a whole song out of it to basically swear throughout an entire song without saying any swear words, and it's perfect. So they have some bangers. I won't even lie, but dude, like. Imagine this. You said you watched that movie recently. Would you argue to say that Nightmare Before Christmas has at least the right amount of songs in it?
So many that I don't remember. So yes.
Right? But imagine I told you this. I want you to rewrite that movie and I want you to add another 7 songs.
No.
That's what this movie is. This movie, there are moments that the songs are just input for absolute even. And what this doesn't help. I know they were trying to be funny about it, but I'm like, no, I'm actually annoyed. Is that in the movie?
They made a song about there being too many songs.
As their job, right? The ghosts do that to influence the person they are haunting. They do a lot of things, and some of that is song and dance, right? And so they're aware of it, right? So sometimes when they're convincing people, like even within their own space, they'll start bursting into song and dance, and sometimes those people are like, no, please, like I'm not one of you types of ghosts that does the song, and I'm just like, I'm admin, please stop that, we don't need this right now, and or whatever. Like their boss is like, no, please stop, and then they go into like, and dude, sometimes I'm there, I'm like, it's a little excessive. I would look at my partner and she's like angry, like borderline angry. She's like, why are they singing about this? Even at the end where she thought the movie was genuinely over, it popped into another like song, and she's like, absolutely not. Like if we see credits roll up, we're straight up. And she saw the credits, she's like she just turned it off. It's like, nope, nope, not doing this no more. So like, was it worth a watch? It was worth a watch. I'll even say this: the story is like something that they should be proud that's under their belt. But there's no way I'm rewatching this movie for Christmas. And if I'm not rewatching this movie for Christmas, why the fuck am I rewatching it? It's about Charles Dickens. It's fucking Christmas Carol. Don't get me wrong. Again, actually a very good sequel to the story. Like, correction. If someone released this movie with like cutting out most of the songs and just keeping the ones that mattered.
I have to look it up. Sorry.
Then I'd be there.
Here it is, a 2022 film that I cannot access because of reasons. He plays Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, literally, he's actually playing Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like, it's
why?
Well, like, okay, again, spoiler alert for whoever's listening to me. So Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
They're going through their journey kind of together in this movie. And at one point, they always start becoming friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they start talking, and they're like, "So after that happened, like, how long were you alive for?" And he's like, "Oh, about 3 weeks." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, it was winter time. Winter was the main killer of people, so I was in good spirits for like 3 weeks, and then I died, and then I became Ghost of Christmas Present to rescind for all my atrocities." Blah 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 blah.
Terrible.
But like
Terrible.
needless to say, the story itself, good. The singing, I rather not. On many levels, except for like a few songs.
What the? No, I'm super cool. This is no, I'm good.
Well, that's what I'm
Oh.
saying. Like, you might want to read it, because if you read it, you skip all the songs. So
I am definitely, if that's the way I'm looking at it,
you know,
then
like I that's what I'm even on borderline suggesting to our fans.
you should probably read it. Go ahead and
You should
read that
probably
on the
just read it.
Wikipedia.
But like, don't like I said, is it worth a watch? It's worth a watch. If you don't like musicals, you will not make it through. I know people have told me like they just stopped. They outright just stopped. They're like, no, after like 20-minute mark.
You're like, all right.
Yeah. And I was like, it's only because part of it was because I wanted to know if I was right. And
you just saw
like,
it and you thought it was that that's what it was.
When they looked at, there was a point in the movie where they look at Will Ferrell and say he's unredeemable, and something along the lines is, you know how that went? Last time I deciphered the entire movie from that point.
Jesus.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There was already things that were blatant on the wall, but I was like, oh, you're Scrooge. Oh. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. And then like slow piece by piece is like, after a song, he'd be like, hey, here's one of the things I called out.
So wait, the movie doesn't tell you flat out that he's Ebenezer Scrooge?
They do, but like you have to get there, right?
How long does it take you to get there?
Long enough.
Wow, Wikipedia just ruined that for you.
It's 2-hour movie, bro. That happens like somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour.
Wiki starts it with Ebenezer Scrooge / Ghost of Christmas Present and then / Roberto, and you're like, what?
Yeah, because he doesn't get his. You only find out officially when they go back in time.
Gee, that's terrible. Okay, everybody, don't read the wiki because it just will ruin the movie for you immediately.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's cool.
But that's the thing. It's like, so when you figure that out and you figure out that Ryan Reynolds is essentially the Scrooge of present day, you're like, okay, so Bill Murray. Like, we know exactly how this is going to happen.
So apparently what you're saying is Scrooge is a better movie than this.
I haven't watched Scrooged in a long time, but I'd be more willing to rewatch it than... Let me put it this way. With how this movie is, I'll watch that movie twice before I watch this movie.
I need to watch Scrooged, actually.
I think if I remember it well, it's actually a really good movie.
I don't think that's anywhere on any kind of thing.
What?
Scrooge? No.
For sure it's somewhere.
No, man. I don't think so. Listen, when I was looking for Christmas Vacation, that was on like Amazon. I had to like pay for it.
Really?
Yeah, it was stupid.
I own that movie.
Why isn't this everywhere? I think I own it. Do I own that? I don't think I own that.
How can you not?
I feel like I bought it and then I lost it and I should have it. I don't know where that movie is.
I feel like giving back. If anyone wants to see a good movie that was made in the last few years, that was a playoff of something. Grinch 3D. Grinch 3D is a good movie.
How is Grinch 3D? Is it? No. How?
I'm saying in regards to the holidays. And first of all, it is. It's a good adaptation to the OG.
I feel like there's been too many Grinch movies. Like there's a Jim Carrey Grinch, and then there's Grinch. What?
And then there's 3D Grinch. What other Grinch movies are you talking about?
So there's 3D Grinch. 3D Grinch telling the same story as Jim Carrey Grinch and the original Grinch?
It's the original. It's way more based on the original Grinch. There's only, if I had to describe it, there is like a 15 or 20 minute like mini movie within the movie, because it's like an in and out character type thing that happens very succinctly. But other than that, it's just a good expansion on the first one. And what's his name? Cumberbatch does a good job of the Grinch voice.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. And Farrell does a good job of the narrator.
What are you fucking telling me, man? Hold on, 3D Grinch?
What are you talking about?
I didn't know this
What?
movie
Grinch?
happened. What?
Dude,
What?
good on that.
This movie happened?
Yeah, dude, it's really good. I really like. Unlike some people, I really didn't like the Jim Carrey Grinch. I thought it was really stupid.
I saw it, but I was just like, okay, whatever. This is Benedict Cumberbatch is a Grinch?
Dude, this is good. Ever since I saw it, I've watched it every year right before I watched the original Grinch.
All right, now where is this playing? Is this on the Flixie or any of those Amazonio?
It should be somewhere.
Is that on one of the things I pay for?
Should be.
Curse those bastards.
But yeah.
Dope. All right. I've watched a few Charlie Brown things. Christopher the Christmas Tree yesterday with my daughter. Yeah, remember the one? It's Wild Canadian. It's about the Christmas tree who's like the super wimpy Christmas tree, and then like all these other trees get cut down, and they're like, "You'll never get cut down." He's like, "I want to be a Christmas tree," and then he grows up and he becomes this big, humongous tree. And, like all these animals end up living in him and stuff, and he gets this like owl who's like slightly dyslexic but has a speech impediment named Hootie.
Yes.
And then friggin' Christopher gets cut down, and Hootie discovers that he figures out how to fly finally, and he can talk, and he's super annoying, and he yodels and stuff. And I think Christopher ends up being like the Christmas tree in like Times Square, I want to say. And yeah, they all end up singing this "Christopher, We Love You" song, and yeah, that shit was addictive. But that was my Christmas special when I was a kid. I loved it, and I watched it on the couch yesterday as my daughter slept, and it was fun. That's what I've been watching. Just random kiddie Christmas stuff. Elmo Christmas specials, Barney Christmas, like
The Garfield Christmas is a good one. For
Garfield
me,
Christmas is so dope. That's Danielle's favorite. That is an amazing one.
It's so good. Like for me, when I was a kid, I had
his
like
bald ass brother, and they're like fighting him, and
yeah, exactly. And then like they're trying to wake up their dad. Like they're 38 years old, and they're trying to wake up their dad on Christmas. Like they're 5 years old.
Don't get up, and he's like, "Dad, it's Christmas." Yeah, I remember
that. Go to bed. You know it's Christmas. I know it's Christmas. Like, you know.
Yep.
But for me, I remember as a kid, my parents were I don't know what year they did it, but they were kind enough to like record on like an 8-hour tape, like, you know, VCR styles. Like they recorded a bunch of films, and it always started with a Garfield Christmas. The halfway point was Grinch, and then the last one was always Frosty.
Wow. The last one was Frosty?
Yeah, because it's not in order of like choice, right? It was order whatever came out.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was like I had that. I had a Bugs Bunny Christmas special, which was really, really good. I had the Muppets, the one where they go to the bear's mom's house with everybody, and for some weird reason, Fraggle Rock exists at her house as well.
Yeah, because they're in the same universe, kind of. But yeah, that's weird. Okay. I went to Fozzie's mom's house. Cool.
And then what's it called? You had like, you know, Rudolph. You had I had the mouse version of
Rudolph is dope.
Night Before Christmas or whatever.
Yeah, I know about them. You know, not Night Before Christmas.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
The fucking Scrooge story. The Christmas Carol.
No, it's not. No, not a Christmas Carol. No. This is the one where it was like a kid was obsessed with this clock or something. It was mainly about the story of like Santa Claus coming, where they rose such a cloud. I forget the name. I think it was Twice the Night Before Christmas. I'm pretty sure
it was The Night Before Christmas. I know what you're talking about with these mice. I hated that one. I think
I had Babar. Do you remember Babar Christmas?
Babar was so badass. Yes, I remember.
Dude,
Babar.
he became Santa. It was amazing.
I love how Babar. So, like, Babar didn't tell you enough about Babar and him as King Babar. They always told you his bullshit stories about him as a kid. I'm just like, no, I want to know about you and you being old as fuck and being king. Talk to me about King Babar. I don't want to hear about this young child Babar shit. Give me the old man things. Babar is great. Why didn't we get more Babar? Why isn't anyone remaking Babar? Babar.
Why is it's true.
Why the fuck is no one making Babar stuff? Like, are you guys nuts?
It's an easy win. An elephant.
It's elephant. Okay, well, I mean, listen, they would exploit the shit out of elephants and then piss off somebody. Yeah, but Babar
they
was
would
dope.
for sure end up trying to not be racist about his friend Monkey, but like that would.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there are some red flags now that we're fleshing it out.
Now that I'm looking back, hold on. No, we couldn't do that. Babar would be sick, man. Ah, man.
Do it, internet. Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. Babar is like, he had so many kids, didn't he? He had like wild kids.
He had at least 2 boys and a girl.
Yes.
Because it was either stories about his past or stories of them fucking around.
Yeah. And that's it. There was nothing with him dealing with like politics and stuff. It's like, can we talk about you being king, please?
Yeah. You had some of his entourage though. Like I remember there was some specials about like if you remember his like old consult there with the square glasses.
Yes.
Glasses there.
Yo, why was Babar like Kitty Game of Thrones? What the fuck? Like, did you hold on? No, but think about it. Really think about it. Why was Babar here being Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones? This guy had the king's head. He had that dude with his like square little glasses. He had his monkey friends on. He definitely had his 3 kids that were running amok in a freaking kingdom and shit. Yeah. They just didn't have dragons.
That's fucking funny.
Babar was Game of Thrones, man. Nobody died. That's all. I mean, it couldn't have. They were children. It was a kid show, but listen. Shit got serious sometimes. Who were the bad people? Were they like alligators? Was it alligators?
No, it was
wasn't it?
No, it was rhinos.
Rhinos.
It was rhinos.
See, there you go. It was.
And the kids liked his arch enemy. The kid ended up liking Babar's kids and wanted to hang out with them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. See, there you go. There you go.
Oh my god, that's funny.
So good. So good. I'm just reading on synopsis of the original Babar book.
The original Babar book.
Wait, hold on. What? That's not right. Listen, check this shit out. After Babar's mother is shot and killed by a hunter, he flees the jungle and finds his way in an unspecified big city with no particular characteristics. He is befriended by the old lady who is the old lady? True, the old lady. You remember her?
Yeah.
Anyways, he's befriended by the old lady who buys him clothes and hires him a tutor. Babar's cousin Celeste and Arthur find him in the big city and help him return to Elephant Realm. Cool. Following the death of the king of the elephants who had eaten a poisonous mushroom, right? A council of old elephants approached Babar, saying that he was lived among men and learned much. He would be suitable to become the new king. Babar is crowned king of the elephants and marries his cousin Celeste. Game of Thrones, nigga.
Marries his cousin Celeste.
Bomb. Like Game of.
Whoever thought Babar was inbred. You know,
I never knew. Bring back the raccoons. Raccoons have been brought back, but yeah, bring back the raccoons. Let's. Oh man, so yeah, I don't have the song, but Dave, I'll let you do the rendition of it because we will get into Geek News. Oh, that was your Geek News.
Yes, I did.
Geek News and Rumours. That was my rendition. And what do we have for Geek News this week? Except for
well, one is Invincible 2 is season 2 is finally coming back. It's gonna be back in 2013, which is
2013, huh?
Oh, sorry, 2013, 2023. My head is not in the game.
How many years has that been? Sheesh.
It's been over a year. I think the last season was in 2021. Yes. So
21? I feel like that was 20.
No, it was 21. It was March 2021 that it came out.
Wow.
So season 2 is expected to be in 2023. They didn't specify the month from what I've seen, so that's unfortunate. In other news, BBC shares the new official images of the new Doctor Who and his companion. It's I'm just trying to get this out. His name is, I want to try and find it. Cannot at all find his name for some weird reason. Sorry, it is. Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this. Nkuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. So I'm sorry if I butchered that name because I have no idea what the letter N and C make as a sound. That's literally the sound that I had to try and do. So if I am openly apologizing, I bet like the C or the N is silent.
You
Like I don't know. I don't
C,
know how.
C
If
as
you
a
know how to
sound.
say that, please correct me.
Nope.
Exactly.
Leave
So like
me
you're
alone.
leaving me. Yeah, exactly. So Mr. Gatwa, that I said right at least. He's the new Doctor Who, which is great. And Millie Gibson is going to be his companion. Good on to them. I think it's great. I'm again super sorry I butchered your name. I can't help it, but I did. And other than that, the only other thing is that Black Adam 2 won't be part of the next DC Universe chapter, which is what we already kind of covered. So
if it happens at all, which
yeah, I like honestly like I don't know. At first I was really like, oh no, we should try and like keep the good actors out of there, but like I have faith in Gunn. That's how I'll say it. I have faith in James Gunn. Most of the things that he has touched in recent years has been, especially when it's properties that the stories are already there. You just have to put them together. I mean, he did good. He did good. I mean, no one gave a. I say this with respect, but no one gave a shit about Guardians of the Galaxy before he came along. No one gave a crap. Let's be serious. And you know, he saved Suicide Squad. Peacemaker was amazing. So if the property has a good foundations, he's proven to be able to like bring it to the promised land, so to speak. So I think that shit's great.
Yeah, I think he'll do all right. I'm not too worried about it. For the holidays, you got any big plans?
No,
Christmas just ran up on us. I just
you wanted to get that out of your system, just how scary quick Christmas came up.
Kind of just nuts. I don't understand. I was just like, oh, it's gonna be Christmas soon, and then I was like, oh snap, it's the 22nd or 1st.
No, but this is great because this is like, well, I mean, I know it's not our first one, but this is like the first one where I bet it's going to be a little bit more interactive with you and her because like the first one, she was still really into it, right?
She was into it. Like she knew what was up, and she's like, "Oh, present's cool." But this one is like, okay, like all the stuff we bought is for her.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't think we got each other anything really. Like I was like, Stanley's birthday was like 2 days ago, so got her stuff then, and then for Christmas, I like maybe a few figures or whatever, but like nothing, you know. So
no,
yeah,
I have not much. You know, just doing regular fam jam stuff. For me, it's always there's always like one of my good buddies. His birthday is the 27th, so I know there's going to be a shindig somewhere there. And other than that, I have the pain of working during the holidays.
So. Yeah, I made sure to take next week off because, yeah, I know it's going to be off, but not off because,
because they make you do the works anyways.
No, because they make you, or you could sleep, but then you have a small human running around. There's no sleeping really, so it's just kind of like I just don't have to do the other thing that earns me the monies, but I still have to do that one thing, which is raising her to be great. But that's also awesome because you know how those things go. Except for now, she's grabbing at these things on the back and like not grab, but like requesting them. So she'll just go up to any toy and just tap it, which is a request to just take it and off of its spot and then give it to her.
That's the concept of a child, but that's you got. I mean, you don't have to, but you could help learn restraint.
Oh, she has restraint. She doesn't grab, like she won't grab them off the wall. Now she's just like, okay, I want to see this one, and then it's like, okay, all right. And then so Lizard is her favorite right now.
I saw that the other day. You showed that. That was cool.
Yeah, Lizard is her. She makes little hissing sounds for that, and that's there's that. And then got her a few minifigs of her own so that she can play with those. But we'll see if she's like, what? No, I want the real ones. I don't want this. We'll see how that goes. And there's another gift for me to wrap. And there's wrapping gifts. Christmas. There's like. It's jumped in. I don't really have the Christmas cheer, but I know that like I should. And maybe because it's on a weekend, that's when I'll get it. Hey, maybe I'll just get drunk. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, that's it. That's it. You know, but at the same time, it's like I find the Christmas cheer comes in when you finally get to be in like the relax mode. You know,
Probably. Yeah.
like it's the same here. Like I still have the last thing I have to do is wrap gifts, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then that's the last bit of the chore because the rest is opening or sharing opening and stuff.
Yeah.
Because as lame as it sounds, because they say it in all these movies, it is also fun sometimes to give if you know what you're giving is like something that's gonna like make
someone
the
like
person's
happy.
day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The true meaning of Christmas. And that's how we'll sign off.
That is true. That is the true meaning of Christmas, and that is how we'll sign off. And to everyone who's watching, and to everyone who will join us, and who will eventually watch this later on and whatnot, have yourself a happy holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that fun stuff. If you don't celebrate nothing, enjoy McDonald's and watching movies by yourself or with loved ones. Do whatever you do. Have fun doing it. Signing off. We will see you guys next week.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy holidays, y'all. I'm trying to find the music thing so that I can actually, like, turn. There it is. There's a countdown and all that stuff. Okay, so let's try that again. To everybody, I'm kidding. Peace, y'all. Beep.